Hey everyone, welcome to today's Explainer. We are unpacking one of the most intricately layered supernatural narratives we've ever come across. I mean, we're going deep into a cursed village, trapped in ancient rituals, deadly supernatural entities, and this intense race against time. We'll be breaking down the terrifying sequence of events surrounding a legendary text and the dark secrets of a colossal palace. It is going to be a wild ride from start to finish. So what happens when the search for the elixir of life unleashes an ancient, deadly curse? Okay, let's dive into this, because that very question is the pulsing heartbeat of this whole analysis. Imagine stepping into a village where the air is just thick with paranoia, the night itself is literally lethal, and the ultimate prize is guarded by unspeakable horrors. This isn't your average treasure hunt. It's a full-on collision between modern ambition and ancient supernatural destiny. Let's get right into it with Section 1, Search for the Elixir. To really understand the absolute chaos that's about to unfold, we first have to look at the conflicting motivations kicking off this whole nightmare. We've got a really stark contrast going on here. On one hand, there's Ishita. Her motivation is entirely practical, completely grounded in the corporate world. She literally just wants to secure a sample for their job and get the heck out of there before dawn. Her career is on the line. But then you have Meghna. Meghna is being pulled by something completely unexplainable. She's having these insanely vivid dreams of herself as a princess in a past life right in this very village. She absolutely refuses to leave until she uncovers the mystery of her own identity. It's a perfect storm, right? You've got corporate urgency clashing head-on with supernatural destiny. And what exactly is that corporate prize they're after? It's the Mrityunjay Amrit, the legendary elixir of immortality. This right here is the catalyst for everything. It's the sheer mind-boggling magnitude of this prize that completely blinded them to the extreme danger of this village. I mean, they walked into a cursed land just to do a job, totally unaware that the entire place was on the brink of a terrifying supernatural lockdown. Which brings us to Section 2, Terrifying Night and the Nishalo. The sun sets, the village goes into total lockdown, and this powerful mystic, the Tantric Maharaj, begins his dark ritual. Suddenly, the stakes are life and death. Now, you have to understand the sheer inescapable nature of the threat here, the Nishilo. These aren't just your standard ghosts roaming around. They act as a lethal, unavoidable barrier. When you hear the drums beating out in the woods, that means the Nishilo are active. And if anyone steps outside their home during the night, they are as good as dead. The village is effectively under a supernatural siege. Look at how fast things escalate into pure panic. It's 9 p.m. Against all the warnings, Ishita and Meghna actually sneak out. Meanwhile, out in the woods, a villager named Raju is wandering around. Suddenly, that terrifying sound of the Nishalo echoes through the trees. Right in front of Raju, a coffin magically drops open on its own, and two horrifying hands shoot out, dragging him brutally inside. His screams are just piercing the night. Ishita and Meghna witness the sheer terror, completely panic, and take off running. They bump into Anuj, the village head son, and they all just sprint for their lives to the safety of the fort where the Tantric is stationed. The threat is not theoretical, it is incredibly real, and it is fatal. Once they are safely behind the heavy walls of the fort, the pacing shifts a bit. Section 3, Meghna's Mysterious Dream. This is the exact moment our explainer takes a massive supernatural turn. There is this wild parallel happening here. You've got the Tantric Maharaj, right? And despite all his incredible mystical power, he only gets an incomplete vision. In his deep meditative state, he follows this glowing butterfly that leads him to a mysterious trapdoor on the floor, but he has zero idea where in the massive palace it's actually located. But then, look at Meghna. At 4 a.m., tossing and turning in a feverish sleep, she gets a highly specific dream. As a princess, she walks the palace, opens a specific almirah, and finds a box containing a massive key. So she actually possesses the exact missing pieces of the puzzle that even the most powerful mystic couldn't find. So the absolutely crucial point here is that her dream is basically a literal blueprint. Meghna's psychic vision gives exact, step-by-step instructions. Step 1, walk the corridor. Step 2, find the large door. Step 3, open the cupboard. Step 4, discover the key. She remembers every single detail of this, waking up completely soaked in sweat. It's like she is psychically hardwired to this cursed palace. And that brings us to the morning. Section 4, the palace maze. The Tantric gathers up the village men and they march on this colossal labyrinth of a palace to find that hidden trapdoor. Now, you might be thinking, hey, it's daytime, they're safe, right?
Wrong. Daylight does not mean safety in this place. The villagers separate to search the maze of corridors. A guy named Manish opens a dark door. Suddenly, a massive swarm of bats flies out. He steps inside and bam, the door slams shut right behind him. Standing there in the shadows is this massive, terrifying cloaked figure. It grabs Manish and his screams are just completely swallowed by the thick stone walls. The search party is failing miserably, and the palace is actively hunting them down.
But then, Meghna shows up at the palace, and to the absolute shock of the Tantric and all the villagers, she doesn't search. She leads. She confidently walks the exact steps mapped out in her dream, straight down the corridor, right through the large door, directly to the Almirah. She opens it, grabs the massive key, and walks them directly to the hidden room where the trapdoor from the Tantric's vision is just waiting on the floor. It is a flawless, downright terrifying execution of her psychic blueprint. Everything has been building up to this exact moment. Section 5, Curse of the Birampur Puran. I really want you to pay close attention to how this ultimate trap is sprung. They finally lift that heavy trapdoor and climb down into an underground vault. And sitting right there, sealed inside a glass box, is the Birampuram Puran, an ancient, highly sought-after magical text. The villagers are absolutely stunned. This is it! The source of the mystery, the ultimate prize hidden beneath the cursed palace. Meghna steps up to the lock on the floor. She puts the key in, turns it exactly 3 times. The trapdoor opens up, the men lift it. They're all just completely mesmerized by this book. Meghna reaches into the glass box and lifts the ancient text. And this brilliantly illustrates the exact fatal moment the curse is triggered. Just the physical act of lifting the book breaks the seal. So, right as her hands grasp the book, what is that strange sound echoing from the corners of the vault? Just hold your breath for a second and imagine the dead, heavy silence of an ancient underground tomb being shattered by this creeping, clucking, rustling noise, coming from every dark shadow. It's an ambush. Thousands of deadly scorpions pour out from the darkness, just flooding the floor in a massive, terrifying wave. The curse wasn't just some myth, it was a biological, highly lethal trap designed to punish literally anyone who dared touch the Birampur Puran. Pure panic instantly erupts. Look at the sheer, horrifying fallout of this escape. The villagers are sprinting for the stairs, shoving each other in absolute terror. One man slips. In a split second, the swarm consumes him. His flesh literally dissolves, turning him into a skeleton before their very eyes. Meghna is sprinting at the front, clutching the book, leading the mad dash out the main gates. They burst into the daylight, but guys, the horror still isn't over. A second man trips right at the threshold of the palace doors. The scorpions drag him back into the darkness, his screams echoing through the stone halls, while the survivors just collapse outside, gasping for air. The cost of getting this prize was absolute brutality. And as they sit there, completely traumatized, panting in the dirt outside the palace walls, the Tantric Maharaj turns his piercing gaze over to Meghna. He doesn't celebrate. He doesn't look relieved. He just looks at her and asks the one question that changes everything. Daughter, how did you know about this book? And that is exactly where we're going to leave it today. A survivor who somehow knows way too much, a deadly curse activated, and a mystery that has only just opened its darkest chapter. Thank you so much for joining me for this analysis, and as always, keep questioning the shadows.